All right, let's make this trading thing too easy because when the chart flips, we taking trips, baby. So starting off with my recap of the week, looking back at Amazon, it did exactly what we mapped out. It wicked into the 12 cloud and ended the week closing at $231.03. That's a textbook wolf chart move when structure lines up. Go ahead and going over to AMD. As you can see, AMD kind of showed out this week because on the weekly time frame, it was looking like a little stall candle, and it actually did, but it broke through a bearish order block and closed above it. Then it tapped into another supply zone at $186.65 before pulling back. Shopify closed the entire week red, and that's exactly why I love the structure. That red candle was just a clean pullback into the weekly fair value gap. It's still an A+ setup. Actually, it's looking like it should be in the entry zone on the weekly time frame. All you have to do is wait for a fresh new inverse arc on the 4-hour and you're good to go. So moving on to Micron. Micron broke a key trend line on the daily and climbed into the 129.50 zone before pulling back. That pullback sets it up for a retest at those highs. Once this clears $130 cleanly, this thing could really fly. So looking back at EA, it's actually a funny story. I was literally playing Battlefield 6 beta the weekend. I called this one out. So EA broke out of the all-time high and pushed all the way up to 180.86 before pulling back. The old all-time high was at 168.48. It obliterated that level the same day, the Monday it opened, all the way up to 175. I mapped out the support to be $168.48 unless it sets a new floor above it. And this setup might still have 200 written all over it. All you need is enough time. In fact, one of our traders in the Trading Route and the Wolf Empire, he bought 4 contracts for 150 each. 3 days later, that was a $1,200 increase. That's an absolute banger in my book. And the bonus ticker this week, APP. This thing literally pulled back all week. It ignored the support that it had and did a bigger support around the 422 zone, wicking into the fair value gap. So on the weekly, this thing still has a uptrend. So I'm not going to turn my eye on it so fast. It still has a change of character. It still has the break of a trend line. So this thing still could go up. And it actually moves $22.50 per day. So, I mean, this thing could fly all the way up to 520 and break all-time highs. So, the lesson? Structures tell the whole story. Not every name popped, but the setups that confirmed, they moved. The ones that didn't, they stayed safe. So, keep those on your radar still. Remember, these confirmations get us into the trade early. Just wait for a pullback and ride the wave, baby. All right, since it is Sunday, I do have to do my weekly watch list. So this watch list is for 8/18. Starting off with the weekly watch list is going to be MCHP, Microchip Technology Incorporated. So as you can see on the weekly, it found a key support level in a fair value gap and the 20 SMA, the simple moving average. So on the daytime frame, we have a fresh inverse arc. So we're looking for an open and close on the daytime frame above this 12 EMA. After that, we can start looking at $70 targets. The second ticker on this list is YUM. So as on the weekly, it protruded the WTMA and the 12 EMA cloud. Also, the 20 SMA as well for a strong upward movement. Let's go ahead and go down to the daytime frame. As you can see on the daytime frame, we have a fresh inverse arc with a floating candle, which is extremely bullish. So right now we're targeting the break of this trend line all the way up until a possible $152.50. That's a great move during the week. The next ticker is DAL, Delta Airlines. So as you can see, it broke above a weekly trend line with no resistance ahead. On the daily, we have 3 floating candles, which is extremely bullish, and a change of character, and also a bullish Marabazu. So we could target anything up to $68 because of the momentum that it has. The 4th ticker I have is ONC B1 Medicines. As you can see on the weekly time frame, it reclaimed the WTMA and bounced off a fair value gap and closed above the previous week highs. This is a great move to the upside. Looking at the daily time frame, we have an inverse arc that happened on Thursday and a floating candle that happened on Thursday and Friday. So this thing can fly with little to no resistance. A key resistance level right now is at like 388. So this thing can go all the way into at least to 390, where it would face some resistance and probably wick down for a pullback. The next ticker we have is CHWY, Chewy Incorporation. So looking at the weekly time frame, you can see that it bounced off the 200 cloud, 2 bullish order blocks, which is extremely bullish, and it wicked down into it. Institutions bought into it, and now it protrudes the WTMA, a key resistance level, and is trying to push above the 12 EMA cloud on the week. Looking at the daily time frame, we have inverse arc, a bullish order block, and a floating candle at $40.49. I'm targeting anywhere from 42.70 to 43.45 on the daily time frames before it faces any resistance. So this thing can run up. Well, that's the game. Trade setups, not emotions. Let me know what you're watching in the comments. Like and subscribe. Not just because it helps, but because my kid also tells me, hey, you got to tell him that, Dad. If you want to trade these moves with the system I'm using, grab access to the Wolf chart in the link below. Peace.